in the quaint town of Willow Creek, Michigan, where the air carried the scent of pine and the lake shimmered under the summer sun. Emily Carter grew up feeling like a ghost in her own home. At 16, Emily was a quiet girl with a heart full of dreams. But her world revolved around her older sister, Lauren, who, at 20, was the golden child of the Carter family. Lauren was a straight-A student, a star soccer player, and the apple of her parents' eyes. Her trophies lined the living room mantel. Her laughter filled family dinners. And her every whim shaped the household. Emily, with her clumsy steps and soft-spoken nature, faded into the background, her voice drowned out by the constant praise for Lauren. From the moment Emily could remember, her parents, Robert and Diane Carter, made it clear where their priorities lay. Dinner menus were tailored to Lauren's tastes, steak and mashed potatoes over Emily's beloved grilled chicken. Family vacations were planned around Lauren's soccer tournaments, leaving Emily's quiet pleas for a trip to an art museum unheard. Conversations at the table revolved around Lauren's latest achievements, while Emily's stories about her day were met with distracted nods. Over time, Emily began to believe she was invisible, her existence a mere afterthought. Maybe I don't matter, she whispered to herself, her heart sinking under the weight of being perpetually overlooked. But there was one place where Emily felt truly seen, a sanctuary that held her together, her grandparents' lakeside cabin at 742 Maplewood Lane. Nestled on the shores of Crystal Lake, owned by her grandparents, Henry and Margaret Brooks, the cabin was a world apart from the cold indifference of home. It was a rustic haven with weathered wooden walls, a garden bursting with wildflowers, and a porch where sunlight danced through the trees. There, Emily wasn't compared to anyone. She was simply Emily, loved, heard, and cherished. Henry and Margaret welcomed her with open arms, their faces lighting up at the sight of her. Margaret would brew chamomile tea, the aroma filling the cozy kitchen, while Henry hung Emily's awkward sketches on the cabin walls, declaring them masterpieces. Every story Emily shared, whether about a tough math test or a funny moment in art class, was met with their full attention. "You've got a spark, kiddo," Henry would say, his eyes twinkling. The cabin was alive with warmth, the scent of Margaret's freshly baked oatmeal cookies, the creak of the porch swing, the soft lapping of lake waves. It was the only place where Emily could breathe, where she felt worthy just for being herself. On rough days, when the sting of being ignored at home cut deep, Emily would bike to the cabin, her heart racing with anticipation. The moment she pushed open the door, Margaret's cookies greeted her with their sweet, comforting scent. Henry would set aside his fishing magazine, spread his arms wide, and boom, "Welcome home, champ." Those words were a lifeline, pulling Emily from the shadows into a world where she mattered. As Emily grew older, her visits to the cabin became less frequent, but its warmth stayed with her, a quiet strength in her heart. At 18, she set her sights on college, dreaming of studying graphic design at the University of Michigan to one day work for a top creative agency. But when she shared her plans with her parents, their response was a cold dismissal. "We're saving for Lauren's wedding," Diane said, her tone final. Lauren's engagement to her college sweetheart had sparked plans for a lavish ceremony, a 5-star venue, gourmet catering, a custom designer gown. The Carters' focus shifted entirely to the wedding, leaving Emily's college fund untouched and her dreams sidelined. Determined not to give up, Emily applied for student loans, scraping together enough to enroll. She didn't resent Lauren's wedding, she understood it was a milestone for her sister. But the contrast between her family's priorities and her own struggles stung. At Lauren's wedding, a dazzling affair that felt like a Hollywood production, Emily sat quietly, watching the celebration unfold. Amid the clinking glasses and laughter, Henry and Margaret found her at a corner table. "How's college going, Emily?" Margaret asked, her voice soft with genuine care. Surprised but warmed, Emily shared her excitement about her design classes and her dream of creating campaigns for big brands. Margaret's smile held a hint of sadness, as if she sensed Emily's struggles. Henry, listening closely, added, "If you ever hit a rough patch, we're here. Just keep chasing what makes you happy." Their words wrapped around Emily like a warm blanket, easing the ache of her parents' indifference. But that fleeting moment of comfort was shattered months later. In the summer before Emily's sophomore year, a call from Margaret, her voice trembling, broke the news. Emily, your grandpa, Henry, had a heart attack. He's gone. The words hit like a tidal wave. Emily drove to the hospital in a blur, arriving to find Henry already still. Margaret clutching his hand, her face etched with grief. Emily rested her hand on her grandmother's shoulder, their shared silence heavy with loss. Henry had been Margaret's partner through decades. And now, his absence left a void too vast to comprehend. Just 6 weeks later, tragedy struck again. Margaret, as if unable to bear life without Henry, passed away quietly in her sleep. Emily was devastated. The two people who had loved her unconditionally now gone. Their voices, Margaret's gentle encouragement, Henry's hearty laughter, echoed in her mind. But the thought of never hearing them again was unbearable. A week after Margaret's funeral, Emily sat in the office of Mr. Thomas Reed, the Brooks' longtime attorney. The room was tense as Reed, adjusting his glasses, read the will. To our beloved granddaughter, Emily Carter, we bequeath our lakeside cabin at 742 Maplewood Lane and $150 in liquid assets. A gasp escaped Lauren, who sat rigid beside their parents. Diane's nails dug into Robert's arm, her face pale with shock. Reed continued, addressing Diane directly. To our daughter, Diane, we leave nothing. This reflects our final wishes. When you needed funds for Lauren's wedding, we provided $200. We honored your needs then. And we ask you to honor our decision now. Diane shot to her feet, her voice shaking with fury. This is outrageous. We're family. How can you favor Emily like this? There's been a mistake. Her words echoed in the small office. But Emily sat frozen, a storm of emotions swirling inside her. The cabin wasn't just a house, it was a symbol of her grandparents' love. A place where she'd found her worth. Their decision felt like a final gift, a validation of her place in their hearts. As they left Reed's office, Diane, Robert, and Lauren cornered Emily in the parking lot. Diane's voice dripped with false sweetness. Emily, that cabin holds memories for all of us. Doesn't it? If you sell it, I know a great realtor. You'd get a good price. Cash in hand. Smart move, right? Robert chimed in, warning about property taxes and upkeep costs, while Lauren suggested Emily wouldn't want to live all the way out there. Their words were carefully chosen, but their intent was clear. They wanted the cabin's value for themselves. Resentful that Emily had been chosen over them, Emily's heart hardened. She took a steadying breath and met their eyes. I'm sorry, but I'm not selling. I want to keep what Grandma and Grandpa left me. Her voice was calm but firm, a declaration of her resolve. As she walked away, a quiet pride bloomed in her chest. For the first time, she'd stood up to her family, defending the one place that had always been her refuge. The cabin, with its wildflower garden and sunlit porch, was more than property, it was her grandparents' legacy, a testament to the love that had shaped her. And Emily was determined to protect it, no matter what came next. The parking lot outside Mr. Reed's office in Willow Creek was bathed in the harsh glow of streetlights. But the air felt suffocating as Emily Carter faced her family. Her mother, Diane, leaned in with a saccharine smile, her voice dripping with calculated warmth. Emily, that lake house at 742 Maplewood Lane, it's a treasure for all of us. Isn't it? Sell it, and you'd have cash to start your life. I know a realtor who'd get you top dollar. Her father, Robert, nodded sagely, adding, maintaining a place like that is a money pit, taxes, repairs, you name it. You're young, Emily, you don't need that burden. Lauren, her sister, chimed in with a practiced casualness. You're not moving out to the middle of nowhere, right? Sell it and get a cute condo in Ann Arbor. Their words were a well-rehearsed symphony. But Emily saw through the facade. They didn't care about the lake house's memories, her grandparents' laughter, the scent of wildflowers, the creak of the porch swing. They wanted its value. Resentful that Henry and Margaret Brooks had chosen Emily over them, Emily's chest tightened, but her resolve hardened like steel. She met their eyes, her voice steady despite the storm inside. I'm not selling. That house is everything Grandma and Grandpa meant to me. The silence that followed was electric. Diane's smile faltering, Robert's jaw tightening, Lauren's eyes narrowing. Without another word, Emily turned and walked to her car, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and triumph. For the first time, she'd drawn a line in the sand, protecting the one place where she'd felt truly loved. But as she drove away, she knew this was only the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Emily distanced herself from her family. Their calls went unanswered, their texts ignored. She felt a pang of guilt. After all, they were her blood, but the lakehouse wasn't just property. It was her sanctuary, the last tangible piece of her grandparents' unconditional love. She couldn't let it go. Not for money, not for their approval. The silence between her and her family grew, a chasm widening with each passing day. Months later, as autumn painted Willow Creek in shades of amber and crimson, Emily's mother reached out with an unexpected request. Emily, we're hosting Thanksgiving for the extended family this year, Diane said over the phone, her tone oddly warm. We need a bigger space. And, well, your lake house would be perfect. What do you say? Emily hesitated, her instincts screaming caution. The lake house was sacred, a vault of memories she guarded fiercely. But a flicker of hope stirred. Maybe this could be a chance to share her grandparents' legacy. To create new memories in the place that had shaped her. She imagined cousins laughing in the garden, aunts and uncles gathered around the oak dining table, the house alive again with warmth. Surely, Henry and Margaret would have smiled at that. Okay, Emily said softly, let's make it special. Thanksgiving morning, Emily drove to the lake house, her heart a tangle of nerves and excitement. She arrived early, expecting to help set up, picturing the chaos of relatives pouring in. But when she pushed open the front door, a chill ran through her. The house was eerily quiet, save for the faint echo of laughter from the back. The dining room told a devastating story, used plates stacked haphazardly, wine stains bleeding into the tablecloth, crumbs scattered across the floor. The party was over, her family had come, celebrated, and left without her. Stunned, Emily wandered toward the voices. In the living room, Diane and Robert lounged on the sofa, sipping coffee, chuckling as if nothing was amiss. Such a relief Emily owns this place, Diane said, her voice light. Let her handle the cleanup. Robert laughed, nodding. The words hit Emily like a slap, her blood turning to ice. She'd opened her heart, shared her most precious possession, only to be treated like a maid. Rage and betrayal surged, drowning out the hurt. She'd trusted them, and they'd used her. Without a word, Emily stepped outside and dialed 911. My parents are trespassing in my house, she said, her voice trembling but firm. When the police arrived, Diane and Robert were incredulous. Trespassing? We're her family, Diane snapped, her face flushed. You used my house without my consent and left it a mess. Emily shot back, tears burning her eyes. This place means everything to me. And you disrespected it. The officer, caught in the middle, sighed. This is a family dispute, not a criminal matter. Sort it out yourselves. As the police left, Diane scoffed. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. But Emily was done. If you won't respect my rights, I'll see you in court, she declared, her voice cutting through the air. Her parents froze, shocked by her defiance. But Emily was resolute. She wouldn't let them trample her grandparents' legacy. Emily turned to Mr. Thomas Reed, the attorney who'd handled her grandparents' estate. In his oak-paneled office, she poured out the story, the Thanksgiving betrayal, her family's manipulations. Reed listened, his expression grave. Even if they're your parents, your property rights are clear. We'll protect what's yours. His words were a lifeline, grounding Emily in her fight. Preparing for the lawsuit was grueling, gathering deeds, documenting interactions, reliving the pain. But Emily pressed on, driven by a need to honor her grandparents and reclaim her dignity. In court, Emily stood tall, her testimony calm but unyielding. She recounted the lake house's significance, her family's disregard, and the Thanksgiving fiasco. Diane and Robert, visibly shaken, clung to their narrative of family rights. But the evidence was undeniable. Weeks later, the verdict came. The court upheld Emily's ownership and ordered her parents to pay damages. As the gavel fell, Emily closed her eyes, a weight lifting from her shoulders. Her voice had been heard. Her rights affirmed. After the trial, Diane, Robert, and Lauren flooded Emily's phone with apologies, short texts at first. Then desperate pleas for a meeting. Emily ignored them, her heart hardened by years of neglect and this final betrayal. One evening, as she returned to her Ann Arbor apartment, she found Diane waiting at her door, clutching a paper bag, her face haggard. "Emily, please, just hear me out," Diane begged. Against her better judgment, Emily stayed, arms crossed. "We're so sorry for hurting you. For the Lakehouse mess," Diane said, tears in her eyes. "We're family, aren't we?" Emily's jaw tightened. "Family? I was never your priority. You only cared when it suited you." Diane's voice broke. "Your father's business collapsed. We're drowning in debt. Please help us." Emily shook her head, her voice cold. "I can't. You're not my family anymore." Diane left, defeated, and Emily shut the door, her resolve unshaken. She called Reed the next day. Diane showed up. She said, "I want a restraining order." Reed agreed, and soon, the court issued the order. A legal shield around Emily's peace. Her parents, stunned by the document, vented to relatives, painting Emily as heartless. But she stood firm, knowing this was her path to freedom. As Emily learned through family whispers, her parents' and Lauren's lives unraveled. Robert's construction firm went bankrupt, leaving him jobless and friendless, his arrogance alienating those around him. Diane, consumed by stress, withdrew into herself, their home a shell of its former warmth. "System, it looks like your message was cut off. Could you please provide the complete prompt or let me know how I can assist you further? I'm here to help with the continuation of the story. Additional details, or any other request you have,